Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Marvel Snap video. My name is Michael, but you can call me MOLT. Today we are playing my favorite archetype in the entire game. That is right, we are going to be messing around with Move. Now, I've done videos on this deck before, but it is hands down my favorite Move deck that I have come up with, and the stats support its strength. It is an incredible deck. It's made up of Iron Fist, Angela, Dagger, Kraven, Cloak, Cosmo, Doctor Strange, Juggernaut, Vulture, Polaris, Shang-Chi, and Heimdall. Now, we call this our stop and move deck because everything's moving, but we're also stopping stuff with Juggernaut, with Shang-Chi, with Cosmo, with all sorts of things. We've played 316 games with this deck. We've won 165 cubes with it, and it has a 57.6% win rate. It is an incredibly fun deck to play. Now, here's the thing. Move does take a lot of thought, and so if you're just playing casually and you don't want to have to think too much, go and copy a Darkhawk deck, okay? But if you want to solve a puzzle and you want to beat people, then this is definitely a deck and a deck archetype for you. So we're not going to do our typical card breakdowns for this video because I've done those a lot in the past for Move. So we're just going to jump into some live games that y'all can see beside me. And then I'll talk about the cards as I'm playing over there. So Iron Fist is in this deck, which is pretty straightforward. You want to play Iron Fist in order to move Dagger or Vulture, pretty much. So when you move Dagger and Vulture, they get buffed. But also Iron Fist gives you access to locations where maybe you can't play a card. In fact, one of my favorite things that I've done with Iron Fist before is I got Goose in a deck and I played Iron Fist on Goose and put it onto the location where only 6-cost cards could be played, and so nothing could be done. No card could be played on that location, which is pretty freaking cool. And then next we've got Angela. A lot of people look at Angela in this deck and they say, I don't understand. Why the heck is Angela in this deck? Well, Angela gains 2 power anytime that a card is played on it. But guess what? If you move cards off of Angela, then you can buff Angela again. So you play Dagger on top of Angela, you play Kraven on top of Angela, and then you play Cloak on a different location, and you move both of them. And then now you have 3 more times that you can play on top of Angela, getting her from a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, getting her up to a 2-10 very, very easily. If you are able to play those other cards on top of her. So Angela is a 2-cost card in this deck that allows you the opportunity to buff it in lots of different manners. You can also play Doctor Strange on top of Angela, obviously, buffing Angela and pulling over that card. If you play Heimdall to the left of Angela, Angela will get buffed. If you play Heimdall on Angela, Angela does not get buffed because it's played on a different location at that point once Angela moves. So you would play Heimdall to the left, getting that buff on top of Angela as well. Then we have Dagger in this deck. Dagger is honestly one of my favorite cards in the game. People always say, Mo, what's your favorite card in the game? And I say, I don't know that I have a favorite card, but I have a favorite combo, and that combo is Iron Fist Dagger. It is an absolutely unbelievably powerful combination. For the cost of 3 that you could play final turn, for 3, you can get yourself 12 power for the cost of 3. It is a 3-12, and then you can play something else on top of that. So final turn, there's potential to play Iron Fist, Dagger, and Juggernaut and end up winning the game. So absolutely incredible for a 2-cost, and that's only if you play it final turn. So you can play Iron Fist, Dagger, and then Cloak, and then Doctor Strange, and then Heimdall, and you can get Dagger massive. In the stream today, I got Dagger up to, I think, 32? No, it was 16 to 26. I got Dagger up to 26 today, which is freaking wild. It's crazy. We also have Kraven in the deck. Kraven's pretty straightforward. You move stuff there, it gets +2. So not only does it work when you actually move things to that location, but if you play Polaris on that location, you move things there. If you play Juggernaut to protect another location and that card moves to Kraven, you get a little bit of a buff helping it out. Cloak is in here to play in lots of different scenarios. So most people, when they think about move decks, think of Heimdall final turn. But here's the thing. One of the best, in my opinion, turn 5 plays is Cloak and Vulture. And then you move Vulture, and then final turn, you play Doctor Strange and Juggernaut. Moving that Vulture to another location, playing Juggernaut on another location, protecting it, and getting lots of power. You do not have to play Heimdall final turn in order to win with Move. In fact, I would say less than 50% of the time are you playing Heimdall. There are lots better scenarios of things that you can do, and man, I'm telling y'all, it is so rewarding playing this deck and figuring things out. Now we've got Cosmo in this deck as well to completely shut down Galactus decks and other decks like that, because obviously move doesn't work well on one location. So if somebody's playing Galactus, we have to stop them with either Juggernaut or Cosmo. At the end of the stream today, we stopped 2 Galactus decks in a row, and it was extremely rewarding. So Cosmo's in there for that, but obviously it's also in there to, say, protect some of your cards. If you get Vulture up pretty big and you're afraid that somebody might play a Shang-Chi on it, you can play Cosmo there. Lots of different opportunities for Cosmo to do some work. If Cosmo was a 3-0, it would still be in this deck because of the protection and the defense that it gives us. Next, we've got Doctor Strange in here. Doctor Strange, pretty straightforward. Just a good card that allows you to either get power on turn 3. So say you go Iron Fist, Dagger, Doctor Strange. You could do that, but at that point, Dagger isn't going to be that big because not a lot of cards are down on the board by turn 3. So typically you want to save Doctor Strange until probably turn 5 or for, say, final turn as well. So if you already had Dagger or Vulture down on turn 5, you could play Cloak Doctor Strange. So you move that big card and then you have Cloak, and the next turn you can move that big card back to that Cloak location, getting it even bigger, and then you can play Heimdall again. So freaking crazy. Juggernaut is one of my favorite cards in the game. Incredibly powerful, and a lot of people don't think that you have it. Now, typically, if somebody plays Storm, most people's minds go to, okay, they're probably going to play Juggernaut on this location. Like, people think of Juggernaut in very specific combos. They don't think of it as a final turn play in a move deck, typically. Now, obviously, this deck is getting more popularized. I just looked it up on untapped.gg, and I think there were like 12,000 games played with this exact deck that I came up with. So people are playing it, people are having fun with it, and all that kind of stuff. People are learning how to pilot it. Obviously, I have a 57, almost 58% win rate with it, but I think the win rate overall, because people don't know how to play it as effectively yet, is like at a 50% or something like that. But Juggernaut's just a great final turn play. We also have Vulture in here. Vulture, very straightforward, gains 5 every time that it's moved, so you can play Iron Fist on turn 2. And then move Vulture on turn 3, and then Doctor Strange on turn 4, and then Cloak Cosmo on turn 5, move Vulture, and then Heimdall. Like, lots of different freaking things you can do that could be absolutely insane. You could even Cloak Dagger on that turn 5 and skip out on 1 energy, moving Dagger, moving Vulture. But one of the biggest things that is so incredibly important in move decks is not limiting yourself to moving everything. Like, a lot of times what you want to do is you want to have Dagger on one location and Vulture on another location. You never want them on the same location because that is going to be way too much power at one location. You want to make sure you spread it out. So if you play Cloak on the right and Daggers on the left and Vultures in the middle, a lot of times you're just going to move your Dagger, and then you're going to Heimdall and move that Vulture and Dagger simultaneously, moving that power so that it's not all at one location. We've got Polaris in here to buff Kraven, but also as a control card to just mess people up. There's a lot of destroy going on with the buff to Venom recently, and so you can move lots of things like Bucky Barnes. You can move what the heck is his name? Deadpool. Lots of different cards you can move. That's the whole reason Polaris is in here. Next, we've got Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, pretty straightforward. You just want it as a defense to take out big things if you can. And then lastly, we've got Heimdall. Heimdall is really straightforward as well. Again, wanting to move things. There have been some scenarios where I've played Heimdall on Cosmo because people aren't expecting that. And that's what this game is all about, catching your opponent off guard. If you have a lot of power at a location and you don't need to move it and you have Cosmo down, you can just play Heimdall as an 8 power card that people aren't expecting. That's why I love moves so much. People think you're going to play Heimdall to move it. They never think you're just going to play Heimdall for an 8 power stat line on the board. They don't expect you to play Juggernaut Doctor Strange. They don't expect you final turn to play Iron Fist, Dagger, friggin' whatever else. Like, there's so many different opportunities to get big power and outplay your opponent, and it is so freaking rewarding. But that's it. Let's go and get into these live games, all right? So, bro, it is a Mr. Negative deck. What? Bro, I just told you guys. I am shook. We get the peak for the first time in forever, and it's a Mr. Negative deck. I don't know if they will survive in the middle. What is this going to give me? So 3, 4, 5, and then 5 and 8, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We're going to add 17 over here, plus whatever else they might play. Obviously, this won't do anything over here. And we're going to subtract 8 in the middle. I want to risk it. Dude. Let's freaking go! That's so embarrassing, dude! They didn't even need Mr. Negative because they got the peak, bro. They played Sarah early. They got a massive Iron Man. They had an early Jubilee. Oh, man. The outplay, folks. Sheesh. Oh, that was so good. All right, nothing there. Gosh, that Mr. Negative game was so good, dude. Yeah, they didn't pull Mr. Negative, but they friggin' got the peak, which honestly is better than Mr. Negative. I'm shook. I'm shooken. Ah! Of course, they get the 1-2 punch. Don't you feel like every time you face Zabu, you see it on turn 2, and it's like, what? Like, what are we talking about here? I'm gonna need a 1-drop as well here. Oh my gosh. The Zabu deck, like the best deck in the game right now that we see right here. This is how you want it to start. Literally, this is how you want it to start. No other way. 1, 2, 3. Also, miniaturized lab in the middle is a complete punch in the gut to move decks. Well, I could Shang-Chi that, but I definitely don't want to do that. I don't want to use this either, but do I have to use it? I think I do. Gosh darn it. Okay. Oh, do we think that they move that? That's the real question. And you want to know what my next question is? Do I skip this turn since I just played Iron Fist so that next turn I can play Dagger, Shang-Chi, or even Dagger Juggernaut? I think I do. Because obviously I can't go to the... Let's see how big brain we can be here, okay? Only thing is I wouldn't be winning, so they could take me out. I think I need to get rid of this Darkhawk now. Yeah, I'm just going to get rid of the Darkhawk now. Okay, I'm not going to get rid of the Darkhawk. I lied. There is literally not a friggin' chance that Homeboy moves this over there, risking just straight up friggin' losing that. There's not a chance. There's not a chance. You've got to be kidding me. Knock it to the right, knock it to the right, knock it to the right. I think we still win. Let's go! Bro, people are just getting stomped on right now. Come on, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's what y'all are talking about. Absolutely insane. I got to pull these stats up, man. 57.8% win rate. That didn't go up. 173 cubes, 320 games, y'all. It's incredible. I freaking love Move. Okay? I freaking love Move because you actually outplay people. Here's the thing. A lot of times people will be like, are you just mad because you got outplayed? And it's like, listen, okay? If somebody beats you, it doesn't really mean that they outplayed you, okay? Now, technically, yeah, if you want to get down to all the terminology, they played a card and they won, so they outplayed you. But if somebody just plays a leader and they win, I don't think that's outplaying somebody. Now, dropping off Juggernaut and playing Doctor Strange, that's an outplay. That's an outplay if I've ever seen one. Let's freaking go. Love you guys. Peace out.